Hey, what's up? My name is Moose from Grandma's House Audio recording studio in New Kensington, Pennsylvania. Check me out online, grandmashouseaudio.com. You're listening to the weekly podcast where I interview bands, musicians, promoters, other audio engineers, anyone related to the music industry. Today I'm sitting with Pomper, a.k.a. Dustin, which, funny story, I only know you by Pomper. And I had to look your name up on Facebook to write my notes.
Really? You didn't know my name before this?
Well, on Facebook you are Dustin.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just know you as Pomper. So it's kind of because people know me as Moose. So like when somebody's like, "Hey,"
I honestly always forget your first name. People refer to you, and I'm like, "Who? Oh, yeah, Moose, that guy.
Yeah, it's
the guy that comes to my house and wrecks stuff."
Yeah. Well, I searched it. I searched it on Facebook. I was like, Pomper, hoping you would pop up. You didn't. I had to scroll through my newsfeed until I found a post.
That's surprising because I actually did have a Facebook page that just said Pomper on it for a while. So
that's funny. But yeah, I had to scroll through my feed and there you were. And I was like, oh yeah, Dustin.
This guy.
Because I comment on your stuff all the time. So I don't know.
You just can't remember my name.
Yeah, I can't. Honestly, I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, I hear you.
Names, bands, like any kind of band name, song names, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm horrible with people's faces. And it sucks being like doing promotion and stuff because I'll work with bands multiple times, but like people's lineups change all the time. So people will come and they'll be in the band that I've booked like dozens of times before, and he'll be like, "Hey, man," and then I have no idea who he is.
Thank God for the internet,
right?
You can just look him up.
Yeah.
Oh man, gotta love the internet. So Pomper is a show promoter. You put on local shows. You
Correct.
Local bands and touring bands too. And you're also a radio show host on Chaos Radio.
Actually, it's Good Rat Radio now.
Good Rat Radio.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about promoting shows. I've been to a good handful of your shows. They're really cool because you always book like the small, like intimate places, which is awesome. Especially like being in a band. I love playing those kind of places because they're small, they're easier to fill up. So you can get 10 kids in there. And it looks like it's packed, and people think you're cool or whatever. You book a lot of cool bands. I think. Every time I've seen Survey Says when they come to town, I think you're the one that's always booking them. I think, except for the last show.
Yeah, except for the last one, I think.
But if anybody out there doesn't know who Survey Says is, they're a cool ska band from New Jersey. Definitely check them out. But yeah, so
you're wearing their shirt right now.
I am. I am actually. I don't think anybody can see that though.
We'll take a picture and post it.
All right. So how did you? I only know you from promoting shows, so how did you get into that? When did you start? How long?
I was trying to think. I was talking to Joey, who I've done promotion with. I was talking to him earlier today, trying to think of when our first show actually was, and he didn't really help me.
It's like a name.
Yeah, I mean, Joey, but. He said 2000X, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a great year." But I was thinking it was like 2009, 2010, somewhere around there is whenever we started, and it's kind of funny because we just kind of fell into it, and it was just something we fell into, and then it just sort of snowballed from there, and then it just kind of took off and ended up being something that I was doing on a regular basis. Me and him were actually playing PlayStation one night, and this is how it started. And we were talking with...
Which PlayStation? That might give us a better...
PS3.
Okay, so 2000X.
Yeah. But we were playing with this friend that he worked with at the time, and the guy was talking about, like, we were in the middle of a match, and the guy's like, "Oh, well, hold on, I got to do something." We're like, "Well, what are you doing while we're playing? Like, you're multitasking while you're playing this game." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I just host this radio show, so I just got to talk for a second and then play music." And we're like, so we checked it out and thought it was like really weird. We're like, this guy kind of sucks, and we can do this a lot better. And then we contacted our one friend who's really good with like IT stuff, and he set up Chaos Radio.
Okay.
And so we started playing radio music and stuff, and we were hitting up bands on the old MySpace.
Yeah.
And just finding like finding unsigned touring bands and stuff that like weren't on labels, and we were just asking them like, "Hey, we like your music, we want to play your stuff," and just kind of asking for permission from them. And then eventually, word got out about that, and those bands that were on tour, they'd hit us up and ask us if we knew anyone booking shows. So we just decided to throw a show one day. And then after that,
it's been doing it ever since.
Yeah, and then after that, people just kept throwing our names out there and referring us to more people, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
That's awesome.
So
I booked. I've never really been a promoter, but like in high school, I booked a couple shows like with a friend or by myself. I used to. I think 2 years in a row, I did a show in my yard, which was kind of cool. But I never really got that into it, but I know a lot of friends that do it. Like the last band I was in, that dude was one of the dudes was a promoter.
Yeah.
So I kind of hear a lot of the other side, like the promoter side of things. It's not an easy thing.
No, not at all. It's surprisingly stressful at times, especially like you can be as prepared as you want. And, you can have a full lineup right away. Everybody's good to go. And then the day of the show, 3 bands drop and you're waiting on the opening act to show up, but they're 45 minutes late,
Man.
So things can go pretty sour pretty quick.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's kind of the risk you take, I guess.
Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff I hear, and definitely just getting kids to the show is such a huge thing, too. I mean, there's a lot of people, a lot of kids that go to shows consistently and stuff, but I feel like a lot of people think like, oh, you decide you're going to book this band and that band on this date at this place. You make a Facebook event, invite all your friends, and then people just show up.
Yeah, they think it's just like a magic one-click button and there's attendance.
Yeah. And it's just not that way. I mean, I get tons of invites every day for shows all over the country.
Yeah, everywhere.
So it's like
I don't even look at them anymore. Like I just kind of skim on like who's throwing what and maybe check it out from there.
Yeah, it's exactly what I do, and it's I don't know exactly what you do to promote shows, but there's you got the bands out there promoting. You're promoting. Obviously, more than just Facebook events. I don't know if you still or email blast still a thing. I don't even.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I'm not really into the whole email spamming, but
yeah. And then like I know guys that like text. A lot of people, printing out flyers, posting them, handing them out to other people at other shows.
Yeah, honestly, I was trying to think. In my experience, like on the way up here, I was trying to think the best attendance for shows I always felt was like whether it's ticket sales or no ticket sales or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel that the bands have to really want to play with the other bands.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if they're not excited about the show, they're not really going to talk about it. The more excited they are, the more people they're going to tell, the more people they're going to try to get there.
Yeah.
So.
And with ticket sales too, it's like I know there's a lot of people for it and a lot of people against it. Probably more people against it than for it. But promoters usually do that to make sure they get, I guess not necessarily a return, but at least I guess to break even and to make sure they can at least get the touring bands some kind of
you want to
for
cover
gas or something. Yeah.
Try to cover some expenses at least, and you obviously you want to pay as many people as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the touring acts. I mean, you don't know how far they've been coming. This could be the first show on their tour, and they've traveled 16 hours, 18 hours just to get to this first one.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, it's wild. Do you ever do ticket sales at all?
Yeah, it's a hit or miss for me. I'm pretty indifferent about ticket sales.
Yeah.
Like on one hand, it's good because, like you said, it's guaranteed attendance. Like you can, like people sell this many tickets, you're pretty much guaranteed X amount of people or X amount of ticket sales. Yeah. But the downside to that is that people have to work at it. People have to actually try to sell the tickets, and not everyone wants to do that.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you don't do ticket sales, everyone's more happy about it, but then half the time they don't promote, and half the time it's a failure of a show, and then you look bad because no one wants to put any effort. And I'm not saying that like one or the other should put any effort. I mean, I'm the promoter, they're the band. It's kind of a collaborative, you know. I feel everyone puts in the same amount of effort, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a hit or miss. But like I said, the shows that I feel do the best are the ones that bands want to play the most, you know. If they want to play shows with their friends, or shows with touring bands that they love a lot and really wanted to play with a long time. Survey Says does really well here. I remember booking Arrows Over Athens at the Keynote Cafe, and they would sell out every time. Well, not sell out, but like the Keynote would be packed, you know, because I'm not going to sell out a Keynote show. I'm just going to keep packing them in there, you know. But
for sure. Yeah. I mean, you said you kind of feel indifferent about ticket sales. I know, like, for me, I mean, like I said, I don't really promote, but I hear a lot of the promoter side of things. That I've been in bands forever, and I hear both sides of ticket sales. It's like there's one side that's all for it, and they're just like, it's less of a gamble. You kind of have a better idea of what you can pay the touring bands if you're going to have to pay anything out of pocket at the end of the night to rent a venue or anything like that. And then there's the other side of it that's just, and it's, usually bands and they, they don't want to do it because, you gotta
hustle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like my old band, like there were shows that we didn't do ticket sales, and there's shows that we have, and we were like not afraid to do the legwork. So I guess I was trying to find a different term or a different word or something that was kind of describe that, because I don't think every band is afraid to do the legwork. I think some are, for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I guess the point I'm getting to is that there's like these two extreme sides, and I feel like the reality of it is just somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that with a lot of different things, like, I don't know.
If I could get away without doing it, I would.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just you kind of need it,
Yeah.
But I mean, regardless whether I do ticket sales or not, like even if I do ticket sales, I always make sure that I have the money set aside out of my own pocket just in case everything flops. Like no matter what, I'm still paying the venue, I'm still paying the expenses, I'm still getting the touring bands the money that I guaranteed them. Everybody's still secure one way or another.
So you put like a safety net aside from your own pocket just to make sure.
Yeah, and I mean sometimes that could be a lot of money. I mean venues aren't cheap. I mean, they can be $200-$300, even more,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then plus you're paying, if you're offer bands food or water, place to stay, stuff like that,
Sometimes they already have like a set price, or I don't know if you've ever dealt with any bands that have a rider. Like they're just like, we want a whole cheese pizza. And
$2,000. It's funny because sometimes it just ends up being like the band's girlfriend trying to like, get them more stuff, acting like she's some big manager. And I've had, and I mean, that's fine, like to have someone to do that stuff.
For sure. Yeah.
But I've had it where it's crazy, like they settle on something extremely different than what they were guaranteed. Like I had someone ask me for $250 and catering, and there was something else, like a place to stay or something. And I was like, well, I already have, my expenses set aside for this show. Like it was like a last minute hop on pretty much too,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I can offer you some pizza and maybe something of the door. And then they were like, deal. So, it's like you're settling from $250 to a couple slices of pizza and maybe something. Like,
yeah. And you know what? It's funny you said that, because it's kind of the reality of it, like being in a touring band. I mean, when you first start touring, I mean, I've talked to guys that, just expect all this stuff, and it's like they can their draw at home isn't that great.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not saying that, like you said, it's not, a bad thing that you're trying to get as much as you can. Being on the road is tough. There's a lot of expenses.
Oh, yeah.
You show up to, it's like that meme that was going around on Facebook. It's like, you pile 5 dudes in this like shitty van with $2,000 worth of equipment, and then you go to a show and maybe get paid $50 or something. Yeah. So, but the reality of it is like, when I was in a touring band, it was like, there were shows that we played and people came up to us. Like once we played with Less Than Jake. It was just us and Less Than Jake. It was a killer show. I mean, we almost sold out of merch, and it was just,
I can imagine.
There was tons of people there. It was amazing.
That's one of my favorite bands. That's actually,
me too.
That's one of the reasons we started the radio station. We were like, well, maybe if we keep doing this, we'll one day meet Less Than Jake. And then like a year or so later, I met Less Than Jake. I was like, sweet.
It worked. Yeah. So, I mean, but at that show, like people were coming up to us to buy shirts, and they're just like, they thought we were like rock stars. And the reality of it was just like, it was a festival. So the festival was taking a percentage of our merch.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think we got paid at all. If we did, it was very little.
Very little.
We were touring in a pickup truck. We had a mattress in the back, and we were hauling a trailer with all of our gear.
Yeah.
Like, that was
just sleeping in there.
That was it. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So I guess getting back on the ticket sales, that kind of doing the ticket sales kind of helps, first of all, promote the show. But then, it gets the local bands, it gets their kids there.
Right.
To see the touring bands. And then, if you're just, I don't think a lot of people realize, like, I think people, like, bands get discouraged too. It's like, oh, well, I talked to like 20 kids, man. I didn't even sell 1 ticket. It's like, to sell 10 tickets, you probably got to talk to like 200 people.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess
it's not exactly a small ratio of people. It's like for every 50 tickets you try to sell, you'll probably sell 1 or 2, And I think too, so, I mean, that I think is kind of in the middle of those 2 extremes we were talking about. But I think too, first of all, I think if a band commits to playing a show with ticket sales, no matter whether they find out like different details later or something like that, or they like overlook something, I feel personally that like they should, if they committed to selling 15 tickets, they should sell 15 tickets. You know what I mean? Especially if it like you have 4 months notice,
Yeah.
Like I can understand if maybe it's a last minute show or something like that, but sometimes people know like 4 or 5 months ahead of time, and then 2 days before the show, they're like, "Oh man, we didn't sell any tickets." It's like, all right, see ya.
I mean, and it's like, I think a way a lot of bands look at it too is like, oh well, I had to sell 10 tickets at $10 a piece, so I made the promoter $100.
Yeah, right.
They might or might not get paid, but
a lot of times I feel people get the impression that none of that money is going into expenses. They just see like this hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and they don't realize that like the venue could cost $300 alone. And
which sometimes you have to put up front.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, exactly. And sometimes if the touring package is good enough, it could be a few $100s in itself. You know, so it's really a hit or miss type of thing. Yeah.
So, and I mean, I think by doing that too, I mean, getting kids to the show, I mean, it's only helping out them. You know what I mean? And, if the other local bands that are on the bill are doing the same thing, it's like their kids are there to see you and your kids are there to see that, it's just that.
Right. And
common sense kind of exchange.
It all just comes back to networking. And, and like, no matter what aspect of life, networking is pretty much, in my opinion, going to be the most important part of that. Because,
for sure.
I mean, everyone successful has done a lot of networking. There's always more connections. I mean, you're always going to need help of getting to that next step, no matter what you're doing.
For sure.
So, I mean, hustle the tickets, sell the tickets, make new friends, get more people out. And, I mean, it's just comes down to networking, and it's just going to make you more successful in the long run.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, I guess I'm not saying either that like every time you get offered a show with ticket sales, you should, just suck it up and do it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely shows that, that I've turned down for ticket sales. It's just, I guess you kind of, it takes practice, I think.
Yeah.
You got to kind of look at like, okay,
you don't want to be over eager and play every single show, 4 shows a month, and have 30 tickets on each one. You know,
yeah, for sure.
Because you'll oversaturate your fans as well. I mean, you want to find that common middle ground where you're playing shows, but playing the shows that you want to have fun and that you think will do well. But
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know. Well. Oh God, when was it? My old band played. We got offered a show. It was a ticket sales show, and it was just like right down in Pittsburgh, which anybody listening doesn't know. That's like 20 miles for us. So it's like 45-minute drive or something. So, and at that time we had a pretty decent draw locally. Like we could, if we tried really really hard, we might be able to get like 75 to 100 kids at a show for like something that we would headline or something like that. That's pretty good. But, we got offered this ticket sales show in Pittsburgh, and, we just kind of looked at it and we're like, we don't think we're going to get 100 of our kids down. But the minimum ticket sale was 50. So we're like, we don't think we're going to get 50 kids to go that far to see us. So that was like one thing, and then I think we had like a couple other shows going on around that same time. So
it can make a big difference. Like just one other show that month can make a huge difference on the draw for the show that you're really trying for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and actually the person that was putting on that show he was in a band, and he doesn't talk to me anymore.
Oh, really?
Because of that. Yeah, he got really upset. He was like. He said we were hoarding our fans.
Oh, yeah.
Which we didn't have any fans.
Yeah, you're just keeping them tucked away in the closet for the shows that you want.
Yeah. Which, I mean, sucked, but, I think he got upset, too, because I think a week later we agreed to do a different ticket sales show that was kind of in the same area. But it was basically CKY headlining the show.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then we didn't have to sell 50 tickets, we had to sell 15, and I think we got $2 or $3 per ticket sale.
Okay, so that's a huge difference.
And I think we sold like 30 or 40 tickets.
Yeah.
So it's like we definitely weren't afraid to do the legwork. Like we can sell tickets, we can get out there. We're not afraid to talk to people.
And that's another thing too, is you got to find a way to keep the bands motivated to sell those tickets if you're doing ticket sales. Like you said, the $2-3 per ticket is a good method, or I've tried that method. I've tried a whole bunch of different ticket sale methods to try and figure out like what does better and who likes what and stuff. I feel the $2-3 off each ticket does really well, but I've done it where bands sell say 15 tickets for the show, and then anything after that, if they sell a ticket, they get the full ticket price. So if it's it's $10, they get the full $10. You know, so
I've done shows like that, and it's it's definitely more motivating and stuff. I mean, it's I guess I feel like you should at least try to whether you're the promoter or you're the band. I mean, the whole goal is probably to at least break even. I would imagine, unless you're doing it full time, then you want to make sure you eat that night. So you want to make a little bit of profit or whatever. I don't know, but ticket sales, man.
It's rough.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, something that we all have to deal with, I mean, it's not going away one way or another. It's just, it's there to stay.
Yeah.
You're going to have those shows where you have to do ticket sales one way or another, so.
Yeah, I know some local bands too, maybe not local to around here, but I guess just smaller bands is what I meant, but that just don't do them at all. Most of them I know, it's more of like playing in a band is more of a side thing. They just do it absolutely for fun. They don't care if they're playing for the other bands or
and that's great.
1,000 kids, and that's awesome. Yeah. And then there's other guys that I know that don't do it at all, and they tour and all that stuff. And I guess what I'm saying is it's not that you could probably play all shows with no ticket sales and be somewhat successful. I don't know, but it just doesn't. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like if you got offered to open or play on a show that was really good, like with a band that had similar music to you, and you had to sell 50 tickets, and you know what I mean, or maybe even less.
Right.
I mean, we played with, basic. Well, it wasn't CKY. It was CKY, but Bam Margera was singing.
Yeah.
And it was terrible, but it was a good time. But I mean, we only had to sell 15. So I mean, there's room to talk too, I guess. I mean, I think originally the guy wanted us to sell like 30, and we got it cut in half, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I'll try. Sometimes I might up the goal a little bit, like say try to do 20 if you can, but like in reality I only need 10, just to kind of put that cushion there. And then like if they're like, well, I don't know if we can get 20 people out, then you can kind of work with them from there,
Yeah.
So.
Do you ever get like when you say that to bands and stuff, do you ever just get like a lot of bands selling the minimum, or?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, whether you do ticket sales or not, it's going to be a risk. Like I said, people can show up the day of and be like, oh man, I didn't sell any tickets. But, the day before they're like, oh yeah, we're good, bro. We're good, So, I mean, you never know what you're going to get. It's just, you just kind of have to hope that everyone's reliable, hope everyone's putting in as much work as you are, and, just kind of hope that everything works out. Because, I mean...
So you said you do shows, too, that you don't require ticket sales.
Correct.
Did you ever compare the two? Like, is it more beneficial to not do ticket sales?
Like,
or?
Honestly, it's hit or miss. It's the same for me either way. I mean, I've had shows where I've done ticket sales, and I thought they were going to be awesome shows with like 100 kids or more, and they've ended up being a total flop.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I've had shows with no ticket sales, and it's been a packed show.
Yeah.
But I've also had the reverse on each side of those too. So it's half a dozen in the other.
Yeah.
But like I said before, the shows I always felt did best were the ones the bands were really eager to play. Touring bands that they really like to play with, their friends they don't get to play with too often, and just shows that they're really excited to be there for. Those are the ones that, always seem to do best, whether it's ticket sales or not.
Yeah. Right on. So I guess it kind of seems like, depending on what the lineup is,
I
guess you kind of determine ticket sales off
the more excited people are to play, the more people you can expect. Because everyone's just going to keep networking, keep throwing their names out there, and, they're just going to be more into it.
Right on. Oh man, that's we went really in depth about ticket sales there. That was awesome though.
There's
a lot to talk about.
Yeah, ticket sales is a big thing around here too. That's one thing I'm always seeing in like the Facebook groups and like all the music scenes and stuff is ticket sales or no ticket sales, and then people bash people for this and that, and it's like everybody's just trying to throw a show and have fun, you know? Everybody just needs to relax, and if there's a show doing ticket sales and you don't think you can do it or don't want to do it, then don't commit to something that you don't think you can do,
Yeah. So everybody's entitled to their opinion and stuff, so it's all good. So I'd like to talk about Good Rat Radio for a little bit. No, originally, so is it the same as Chaos Radio, or was there just kind of like a lineup change? Is it a little bit different from that, or you just changed the name?
It's a little bit different. I'm actually in the process right now of doing another makeover to Good Rat Radio. It's hosted on Live 365.
Okay.
And right now I'm trying to get my own website put up, so it'll be goodratradio.com, and I'm getting someone to design the website. I tried to do it myself for a little while, and that's just too much to get into,
I know, man. I did the same thing with my site.
I mean, you have to at least try. I mean, it's money, save yourself money when you can. But so I'm in the process of doing a makeover on that right now. But when it was Chaos Radio, it was essentially all unsigned bands. You know, it was bands that we hit up personally through MySpace, through Facebook, other methods online, stuff like that, through networking. But right now it's, you know, I pay my royalty and licensing fees, and, you know, I pay BMI, all that stuff. So I can pretty much play anything that I want now, you know? So the variety has changed quite a bit. Because, I mean, I was going from all unsigned local bands from different areas in the country to stuff like Less Than Jake, Rancid, The Descendants, next to, you know, Split the D, and, you know, bands
you
around
have a good
here.
mix of stuff. I mean, I definitely enjoy listening, like, because when you guys first started doing Chaos Radio, I mean, I was, anytime I had like some downtime, I was just hanging out, cleaning the house or whatever, I was always like pulling it up and listening to it, because I mean, I guess that's just the kind of music I like,
right?
You know, so, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, no, with Good Rat Radio, I still try to stick to that same genre of music. So so a lot of it is you know, ska, pop punk, and a lot of like older punk, you know, like Dead Kennedys, Rancid, Descendants, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
right on, cool. So, you know, and it, like, do you still do the radio shows too? Like, because I know sometimes like you and Joe would talk.
Yeah, we stopped that for a while. We actually we got together and did what we called like a reunion show not too long ago, which hasn't aired yet. I'm kind of waiting for the website stuff to be done, and then I was going to throw it up whenever I get that out there.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
But we haven't done it in a while. We kind of stopped that for a while, but I'd still update the station with music and still try to keep that on
like
regular
rotation,
yeah,
and stuff like that. Right on.
And it's kind of crazy because like even though we stopped talking on the radio show and stopped doing our shows for a while, people are still listening and spreading the word. Like I get emails every day from people in like Russia and
really?
and like Europe and stuff, just tell me
awesome.
Yeah, they're just saying like they're really good fans. Someone from Russia sent me an email about a month ago.
Yeah.
And it was funny because it was broken English, so like I couldn't. I got the basic gist of what they were saying, but they were telling me that they really liked the station, and they were asking me for presents for their friends and family. And it's like, I don't, you know, I'm just kind of a DIY radio station. I don't really have a bunch of merch that I can send you, you know.
Yeah.
So I sent them a whole bunch of stickers from like local bands that I have that I play on the station.
Oh, okay,
so I mean,
that's
it's
cool.
Something, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome that, you know, again, the internet, man. You gotta love it. It's so, like, the first time I ever put a record up on iTunes, when that was like, I don't even know anybody that buys music through iTunes anymore, but when that was like the thing, when you
I don't even like using iTunes just to update the music on my iPod.
I know.
Whatever happened to drag and drop?
Dude, right? I just posted that the other day.
Really?
I hate it. I was trying to, what was I trying to do? I was trying to put, I think, a song that it was another podcast. I wanted to listen to it on the drive before I posted it. And I was trying to put it on there, and I was like, what's going on?
That's such a pain.
And what's funny, too, is like I have, I use it as an iPod. It's an old iPhone 4 that somebody gave me. So, and then I have it's an older version of iTunes, and it's an older Mac operating system. So it's not like it's even like the newest stuff. Like it's like a couple years old, and I still can't. I don't even want to know what you have to do now to.
Right. Like every time I try to use iTunes just to upload my music, it doesn't upload half of it, and then I have to do it like 3 times, and it's like, where's my music? Yeah.
I was having that problem with a video too. I made a time lapse with my GoPro, and it was cool. We were going to my great aunt's 90th birthday party, and I wanted to show everybody this cool time lapse that I made of the clouds. It was really stupid, but I couldn't do it, and I was like, I finally got it to like. They're like, Moose, you are fucking retarded. Yeah, get out of the family. You're definitely not going to be turning 90. But yeah, once I got it figured out of like how to put that video on, my iPhone wouldn't play it.
Of course, that's how it goes.
It's like, this is not compatible, and I'm like, why?
Like, honestly, I miss having my Zune from years ago, because it was like I would just plug it in, drag everything from one folder onto it, and then there I go. I had music.
Yeah.
And now it's like a 40-minute process of me trying to figure out what to even open to put my music on there.
Sometimes I have issues like I'll put, because I have a recording studio, so like I'll record bands, and I want to listen to a mix that I just did in like my car or somewhere else. Instead of burning a CD and wasting a CD, I want to just put it on my iPod,
right,
plug it in into another system and check it out. And sometimes I have issues with that, like copyright issues or something. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not even released. Like, I'm the only one that has this right now. There's no way there's like some kind of copyright infringement. You got to be kidding me.
Like, I recorded this today.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, man.
I mean, it's just kind of the way technology is going. Like, everything's trying to be more simpler, but it ends up being more complicated for people like me and you who have, grown up on, easier stuff than this, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess the brighter side of that is like, with stuff like copyrights and stuff like that. We were talking about, touring bands not getting paid and stuff. There's a lot of people out there trying to make sure artists aren't getting screwed over. So I guess that's kind of the good side of it. You know what I mean? They're trying to make sure that they're getting paid their 1 penny for streaming their song on the internet and stuff like that.
For their 7,000 plays.
Yeah. And there's still a lot of people out there. I see people complaining all the time about Spotify. I guess they really screw their artists over. And
yeah, that's what I don't know.
I haven't looked into it, but I've been meaning to. I see articles being posted all the time and recording groups and stuff.
I mean, it's just, I feel like a lot of it is you don't really know who you can trust type of deal. Because, I mean, everyone's acts like they're out there to help, but you don't really know who's just in it for their own greed. You know?
It's confusing, too. I just got a check 2 weeks ago for, I think it was like $10 for my old band. And I'm like, okay, I'm a... my performing rights organization is BMI. You mentioned BMI earlier. I don't know how. It told me where I was streamed. It was I got like a couple bucks from Pandora over like the last 3 years, and a couple bucks from like something else. And I was like, okay, cool, that works. It's $10.
Yeah, I'm not gonna turn it down.
Yeah, it's all confusing, all crazy, but cool. So I'm just gonna wrap up the show. If any local bands want to get on your radio show, or anybody's looking for a show or want to go to a show, how do people contact you?
Best way is Facebook, or you can email me directly. Facebook, Dustin Eric with 2 A's, AARIC. Email is Pomperazzi, which, I went to school for photography. Nickname's Pomper, so Pomperazzi, POMPERAZZI @gmail.com. I check it pretty much daily. It goes right to my phone. So
cool. Right on. So there you have it. Pomper, give me a fist bump. I stuttered there. Anybody looking for some radio airtime, hit up Pomper. Looking for a show, hit up that guy. This is Josh Moose from grandmashouseaudio.com. Thanks for listening.